Hello and welcome to the 1 of 20 podcast. My name is Jonathan Sweeney. Today is Thursday, March 11th, 2021, and I'm here in the studio to talk to you all about my safe foods. So, unfortunately, I don't have a special guest today, so you're stuck for the next however many minutes talking to me. So, today I'm going to talk all about my safe foods, but before I begin, I want to tell you all a story from when my journey began almost 20 years ago. So, my family and I were on a family vacation. I had to be no more than like 3 years old, and there was a box of donuts in the kitchen. And I brought them to my mom, and I said, "Mom, can I have a donut?" She was like, "No, Jonathan, you can't eat them. They're not good for your body." But I said, "They have no grams of fat," and I made up a fake label, like literally in my head. I was so convinced that there was no fat in them. Granted, I didn't have the donut, but this brings me talking all about my safe foods because, in some sense, I'm in a type of recovery from eating fattening foods and thinking my body was invincible. When you're a teenager, you think you know everything, but in reality, my teenage mindset of knowing everything and being able to conquer the world really kicked me in the ass. So, with my recovery, my mom was always right. She always said to me, "Don't eat this, don't eat that," and I never listened to her. And obviously, she only had limited control. But now I don't want to openly admit, but I'm going to, that my mom is right. So let's take it and talk all about my safe. First, I'm going to explore nutrition labels from restaurants that I used to eat at. Most of them are fast food restaurants that have their nutrition labels and their nutrition values easily accessible on their website. So that's what I did. I went to all of their websites and I researched all their nutrition labels, and my eyes almost popped out of my head when I found out how many grams of fat and how bad these places are for you. Granted, I'm not committing slander on any of them. They are wonderful establishments. Their food and my body, our values don't align. But I never realized what I was putting in my body until I really looked into it. So first, I'm going to talk all about McDonald's. So when I used to go to McDonald's, and listen, I didn't go on a daily basis to any of these restaurants, just as a treat. But now looking at them, I can't go there for even a treat anymore. So as I was saying, McDonald's. For their breakfast, I used to get a hot cake and hash browns. I used to get one hash brown and three hot cakes. The hash browns have 8 grams of fat, and the hot cakes have 15 grams of fat. Starting off my morning, I would be having 23 grams of fat. For lunch and dinner, it's almost twice that or triple that. I would get a 10-piece nugget and a large fry. The 10-piece nugget had 30 grams of fat, and the large fry had 23 grams of fat, making a total of 53 grams of fat. And then if I wanted a McFlurry with my meal, that is an extra 16 grams of fat. 53 plus 16, I don't know math, but it's somewhere around 70 grams of fat just in one meal. And if I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's, that'd be over 150 grams of fat, and that is something my body can't eat. Go next door, go to Burger King. I don't never have eaten there for breakfast, but I looked up their lunch and dinner. Same thing, 10-piece nugget, a large fry. That's a total of 34 grams of fat. And if I got a shake on the side, that would be 22 grams of fat, and that would come out to about 48 grams of fat. Then if I go to Chick-fil-A, which has a more cleaner menu, still not any better for me. So for lunch and dinner, I would get the same thing if I were to go. I wouldn't eat both lunch and dinner there, but for menu options, I would get a number one meal, which is a chicken patty on a roll and a side of fries. The chicken patty had 16 grams of fat, and the fry had 18 grams of fat, and that comes out to a total of 34 grams of fat. And then if I got a shake, that's 22 grams of fat, and that comes out to about 48 grams of fat as well, or 46 grams of fat, excuse me. Then if I go to KFC, KFC's website is equipped so where you can see it, it does a nutrition builder for you. So it has a nutrition builder on the right side. So every time you add a meal, the nutrition label calculates all of the different food and the sodium, the carbohydrates, the protein, the fat, and you get one big nutrition label. I didn't bring it here today, but it's on the screen next to me of my usual meal, which is a little more complex because I have more to offer. But my meal total at KFC would be 58 grams of fat between two fried chicken breasts, potato wedges, corn, and a biscuit on the side. And then if you go to Popeyes, this one blew my mind. I never ate at Popeyes just because it never really appealed to me and there was never any where I grew up. 102 grams of fat for the same meal that I would get at KFC. Then Wendy's. Wendy's, I would get the same meal, 10-piece nugget, side of fries, and a Frosty, and that came out to 62 grams of fat. And lastly, Panera Bread. I really thought Panera was healthier. I was like, well, if I'm gonna get something, get Panera because at least it's healthier. But I was so ignorant in a sense that I just assumed that it was healthier for me. But in reality, it really wasn't. So their mac and cheese is 25 grams of fat. Their grilled cheese is 35 grams of fat. And I thought their muffins were so healthy, 28 grams of fat. My mind was absolutely blown away when I found that out. If I got a U pick two, 25 plus 35, that's about 60 grams of fat. And then if I get a muffin, that's 88 grams of fat right there just in one meal. And just after seeing all of these, it was so eye opening. It was so, I don't want to say mesmerizing, but my mind was blown. All of these places that I thought maybe half for a treat or half for a snack, they're so bad for you. And my turning a blind eye to it was the worst thing I could have ever done for my body. And my mom was right all these years. Again, Mom, if you're listening, I never said this publicly to the world, but you were right. And now one, I have a more of appreciation for my mother's advice, and two, I know what I'm putting in my body, and I think that's the point I want to drive home here, is that you really need to start looking into what you put in your body. And I know a normal person can have this much fat every once in a while, but for me, my body really can't, and I didn't realize how detrimental it was until I went to the doctor and I found I have a fat buildup on my liver, and I have high cholesterol, and that it was really taking a toll on me. And going off of that, there are other foods that I unfortunately can't eat that I really haven't looked into the nutrition labels. Well, I have, but there's no list of all the ingredients and how much they add up. So, penne al vodka, I really thought I was doing myself a service having pasta. Vodka sauce has so many grams of fat. Is it delicious? Absolutely. But it's just so fattening, and I didn't realize that. And now I only have as a treat. It's only 10 grams of fat. But still, I'm only supposed to have 8 to 10 grams of fat a day. Another one I discovered is regular butter. I used to be a big fan of butter. Butter, I'll put it on anything. Waffles, bread, any carbohydrate, I genuinely put butter on. But unfortunately, I switched to a healthy alternative, which I will talk about later. Bacon, this is another one. I never really had bacon growing up until I got to that stage. I was 14, 15, 16 years old where I thought, wow, maybe my body's outgrowing this. My body will never outgrow this. And that is one of the toughest lessons that I have had to learn, is that my body can't process fats and it never will. And cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheeses. I discovered them last summer. Delicious. Did I go a little crazy with them? Absolutely. But I really try to avoid cheese and butter, and I have alternatives to at least butter. But all these dairy products, if you don't get them modified with low fat or reduced fat, it's just not good for you. And bringing that home, I want to discuss what I can have. Here are the foods that I love and I can eat. And this is just my daily what I can eat. So, first off, breakfast. Every morning I usually have oatmeal. Oatmeal is a lot of carbohydrates. It's good for you, and my doctor recommended it. I usually get the Quaker oats. I usually eat cinnamon spice, maple syrup, and the apple cinnamon one. They are all delicious. I usually pile them with bananas, strawberries, blueberries, apples, and it just is a really healthy alternative rather than sugary cereal or a bacon, egg, and cheese or a sausage, egg, and cheese. This is something that I can eat, my body feels good after, and I feel rejuvenated and ready to start the day. Another one is pancakes. I used to get M&M's, chocolate chips, sprinkles on my pancakes. I just do plain buttermilk pancakes, and if I make them at home, I'll put protein powder in them. And my mom has the protein powder that I use that's good for me. I have not purchased it on my own. But when I do, I will definitely take her advice. As you can see, that is a trending theme here. And sometimes I'll have an acai bowl with honey. I avoid peanut butter. Peanut butter is very fattening. It is a good fat for the normal person, but for me, I can't eat peanut butter or Nutella. Side note, because acai bowls usually come with peanut butter. Acai bowls with all the fruits, strawberries, bananas, blueberries, I usually have seeds in them, just all those different good nutrients for you, those good carbohydrates. And it really doesn't have any fat, especially if you make it at home. And if I have a bagel, have a multigrain bagel. I'm on a multigrain bagel kick. I used to love only plain bagels, but I realized that all of those carbohydrates, they weren't necessarily fattening the food, but they just necessarily weren't great for my health. So I've switched to multigrain bagels. I love my multigrain bagels with my Brummel and Brown yogurt. So delicious. It's yogurt made out of butter made out of yogurt. Excuse me, I misspoke. And it is absolutely delicious. I could not tell the difference between that and regular butter. And going off of that, fruits. I usually eat grapefruit. I have one grapefruit every morning for breakfast. It was kind of my quarantine find. Like, my mom was like, try other fruits. So I tried a grapefruit, and I am addicted. Apples, blueberries, strawberries, bananas, all delicious. And then occasionally, as a treat, I'll have an egg. I read the nutrition label on eggs the other day. Not terrible, but I used to have two eggs, and I realized that doubling that, that's 10 grams of fat right there. Not good for me, so I'll only have one egg, and I'll usually have it on a multigrain bagel with a side of fruit, and usually something with protein, maybe a granola bar. I'm not sure if that has protein. I gotta start reading the nutrition labels super closely, but that's what I assumed. And then for lunch and dinner, same thing. I'll have not the same thing as breakfast, but I'll have the same meals. So usually I have some sort of chicken: rotisserie chicken, barbecue chicken, lemon chicken, grilled chicken. For lunch, I'll have yogurt bowls, grilled cheese, and I know grilled cheese is fattening, but I don't put butter on it. I don't put mayonnaise. I put cheese and I put my multigrain bread. That is so much healthier than regular white bread. And then pasta. Barilla just came out with protein pasta that is so good for you, no fat, and it has a lot more protein built into it. And it's plant based. It's fruits and veggies, and it's super delicious. And I use it with my Brummel and Brown yogurt. And other things I like to make, my mom makes these excellent crock pot ribs. I don't really eat pork a whole lot, but I'll occasionally throw in ribs there. I love ribs. I love barbecue chicken. I love pasta. I love grilled chicken, as I mentioned. All those foods, so delicious. And I think my biggest battle has come from dessert, honestly, because now I have one yasso bar every night. If you know me, you know I love my yasso bars. I usually get the fudge brownie yasso bar, 1 gram of fat, 100 calories in one bar. Absolutely delicious. Other flavors I have are salted caramel, vanilla, coffee. They may be a little pricey. And Yasso, if you're listening, I will pay how much ever you want for your Yasso bars. They are so delicious. They are made out of Greek yogurt, and I don't even miss ice cream. And some other foods I avoid. No disrespect to Ben and Jerry's. I think their ice cream's phenomenal. I love what they stand for, but I genuinely cannot eat their ice cream. Unfortunately, it's a big loss for me. I don't know if it's a big loss for them, but hopefully down the line they have low fat ice cream or maybe a frozen yogurt. Maybe they do, and maybe I just have not even realized. But that's another thing I can't eat, unfortunately. And if I do have ice cream, I usually keep it under 6 grams of fat if there's an ice cream out there. And I love frozen yogurt. So, like, when the whole Peach Wave fad came out and Froyo, I hopped on that because it was so good and I didn't feel guilty eating it. And this brings me to the importance of nutrition labels. I think nutrition labels are so important because I never took them seriously. My doctor, my parents, they always used to hit home, read the nutrition label, read it, read it, read it. And I just always ignored them because I wanted to be like everybody else. But in reality, I should have been reading them all those years. And wherever you're trying to change your diet, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to cut down on cholesterol, sodium, whether you want more protein, I can't emphasize how important it is to read the nutrition label. And honestly, this comes full circle because I'm at a point in my life where I really need to make a lifestyle change. I have fat all over my liver. And my doctor told me I needed to make a lifestyle change. I needed to start being in a more regimented, strict diet. And honestly, reading the nutrition labels and having a podcast like this saved my life because I was going down a dark hole and I found the light and I found something and I found the motivation to be able to regain myself, to take control of my life, and to live healthier and cleaner. And going off of that, my health. I'm still having issues with my colitis, as we talked about last episode. It's kind of a teetering totting episode. Unfortunately, insurance companies in the United States don't make getting prescriptions easy. I could go on a rant all day about it, but I'm not going to. Um, and I'm still trying to find the right fit to help me treat my colitis. But honestly, I've been giving myself self care. I've been going to bed early. I've been sleeping in. I've been living healthier, not only with my food, but my schedule. And I think it's really important, especially as we go on 1 year of the coronavirus and being in lockdown and living in this new digital world. Take time for yourself. Say, I need an hour. I need 20 minutes. I need to take time for myself because anxiety, stress, panic, fear, all of these things, all of these feelings are coming because we are constantly living in fear. We don't know what tomorrow brings. And I cannot hammer home enough how important it is to take care of yourself. And I was lucky through all of the battles and all of the triumphs and through all the sorrow and pain through COVID. I was able to find myself and get myself back on track. And I was able to say, Jonathan, your health will get better. You will improve. And I manifest it. And here I am today watching every single thing I eat. I use a tracker, MyFitnessPal, to track my food. And honestly, this is the best decision of my life. I have control of my life, and I'm able to live a healthier and cleaner life. And that's all I have for today. I am so glad that you all tuned in and you all listened to this episode. It is really important for me to share my story and my journey, and we have plenty of guests left for this season and only 7 weeks till I graduate from college. It has been a wild roller coaster, even these past 2 weeks. Managing school, managing the podcast, managing my social life. It has been crazy, but I'm so glad I've gotten to take these few minutes and to talk to you and to explore nutrition labels, to explore self care. And I wish you a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And the weather's getting warmer, and we will get through this together. Have a great week, everybody.